So we're going to be looking at how you can create an additional pie within M1 Finance on your mobile phone. Now, in case you are new here, my name is Dennis, and I love talking about apps and services that really help you build your wealth. And as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at M1 Finance on a mobile device and how you can create additional pies. I've taught people how to do this on desktop, but I get questions on this all the time about how to do it on mobile. So I figured let's go ahead and show you here today, as I actually want to create an additional pie for my overall portfolio. So why not go ahead and just bring up my portfolio right over here, and let's go ahead and dive right into this process. So here we are. This is my current portfolio. So I have about $2,175 into this pie here. And as you can see, I have a Vanguard fund and then a couple of different sectors. I got tech, retail, real estate, commercial, consumer products, health, industries, and financials. So I have a lot of different options here in where I can put additional stocks, but maybe I want to put more stocks or have a new sector. And this can be for multiple of reasons. Maybe you want to group certain companies together. Maybe you just want to have different sectors for whatever reason. So that is, of course, always up to you, and you can choose how you want to do it. So not every sector has to be, the same as they are officially in the market. You can choose your own, kind of like I'm going to show you here today. So here you can see inside of a sector, we have different funds available for that. Now, the benefit of having individual pies or sectors is the fact that I can see how those funds as a group are doing overall in comparison to my pie in general or my overall portfolio. So you can see here, I can jump into my overall tech pie and see that just this tech pie in the last day is down about 3.79%. But if I go down to my overall portfolio, you can see here that my overall portfolio is only down 3.14%. So that just gives me some insight that my portfolio in this sector is going a little bit lower than my overall, but that's okay. But again, it gives me that insight that I can use, and it just makes things look a little bit cleaner over time. So what I want to do is add a completely new pie. The pie I want to personally create is a fast food industries pie, essentially. So I already have a couple different sectors here, but I just wanted to add this one because there's a few companies I thought I would want to add to the portfolio, and I felt they were better off together as a group rather than into different sectors I already currently have. So what we're going to be doing here is going into our actual research section, which is on the bottom right-hand section of the overall app. So we click on here and it brings you into this news section you can see here. And then on your top left-hand side, you're going to see those three dots, or three lines, I should say. If we click on that, it opens up the research area. Now, quick note here, if you're back on the main page, let's go back to investing and click that same button up at the top. It actually has a completely different set of tools, which is probably why most people can't figure out how to create individual pies within the mobile version. So again, we're going to go back down to the right-hand side of clicking research, clicking those three little lines, and now we have up these different options. We have news, stocks, funds, expert pies, my pies, which is where we're going to need to go here in a second, and watch list. But just to kind of give you an idea, if we click on stocks, this just kind of takes you through the overall stock market based off of market cap. And if we go here into funds, these are like ETFs, again, just based off of market cap as well. And then we can go to expert pies, which this kind of just shows you different kinds of pies that you can essentially just add to your portfolio. But what we really want to do is click on my pies. Now, what this will show you is your overall account, which is the dividend dentist for me, and then all the current sectors that I currently already have in my overall portfolio. But again, I want to add something new. So as you can see on the top right-hand side, there's a little plus sign. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And now it's going to say here, build your pie. So it says automatically invest in what you want, just choose an expert pie or build your own, which of course we're building our own. So we're gonna click this little plus sign, and then it's gonna come here to add slices. Now, I already decided, of course, what I wanted to add into this pie here, and then we're gonna go through and add each one, but stick around because there's a couple things you need to know when it comes to fully adding this to your overall portfolio. So first, let's go ahead and show you guys some of the companies we're gonna be buying here today. So we're gonna get Wendy's. We are going to get the Yum brand. Then we're gonna get McDonald's, then Dunkin' Donuts, and then QSR right over there. So that's a whole bunch of different companies in one. And then we're gonna do Chipotle. We're also gonna do Domino's Pizza. And then, yeah, so that is going to be all of them. So there's going to be 7 different companies that I'm choosing from. So the way I did this was I did prior research on what I wanted to add into this portfolio. So again, make sure you're doing your own research before going and adding just random stocks. Always highly recommend that. But I was able to do that because I knew the ticker numbers. As you saw, I was quickly typing in the 3 to 4 letters that they needed. But you can also kind of just slide over here and just kind of see, all the companies available. You can click on the funds if you wanted to, but I already knew what I wanted to add. So now that I added all those, I'm going to hit done here on the top right. Now it's going to have created a new pie. And then all of a sudden, what it does for me is it just mathematically splits everything pretty much evenly across the board, but I know what percentages I want these funds to be. And what this means is that in this sector, anytime money comes in here, how is it going to be distributed across the board of the companies that I want to have the money dropped into? So I can say right here, for example, I have this all written down. So I'm looking down on my paper. So I wanted Dunkin' Donuts to be 10% of this portfolio. I wanted the Yum brand to be 20%, Chipotle 10%, Domino's 10%, McDonald's 20%, QSR 10%, and then Wendy's 20%. So all of them as a total have to equal 100%. So as you can see here, if I went to 99% here, it won't actually let me continue until I choose 100% across the board. So that's how I want these to be targeted, which means that this fund will do its best to always try to keep those levels as much as possible in the actual. Now, of course, if a stock goes crazy high or crazy low, that will alter the actual percentage and will change that up, but it will never change the target unless you personally change it yourself. So what we're gonna do now is gonna hit save here. And now it's creating this pie. So I can name the pie, so I'm gonna call it food. And we're gonna hit save here. Now, before we continue on, if you're getting some value out of this video so far, make sure you hit that like button down below. It really does go a long way. Now, if you haven't already signed up for M1 Finance, I will have a link in the show notes down below. And that does 2 things for you. One, it actually helps you get right to it to sign up, because that is really important to just get through it. And 2, it actually helps me and supports this channel so I can continue to provide free content just like this for you. And if you have any questions throughout the process of signing up or utilizing your account, let me know in the comments down below or on my M1 Finance group. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop back into the rest of this video. So as I mentioned earlier, hopefully you didn't leave before this part right here, because this is an important part to actually add it to your portfolio. Because as of right now, what's currently used in your portfolio is everything that you already have, but not the food section that we wanted to add. So if you see here, it says unused in your portfolio. So now we actually had to add it to our overall portfolio. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that. Let's go ahead and click on invest, which is the bottom left side here on the app. And then what we're gonna do is click on where it says manage pie. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you're gonna see where it says edit your pie. So we're gonna click on that. Then you're gonna see that big plus sign over here in that green. So we're gonna press on that. And then it says you can add slices, but that's not what we wanna do because we already created our portfolio. So we're gonna see where it says on the top here, it says stocks, funds, expert pies, watch list, and then my pies. So we wanna click on my pies. Scroll towards that bottom piece here, and you're gonna see the unused in any portfolio, which is the food, and you see that little plus sign there. So if we click on that and hit done, now it's gonna actually add your food pie into your overall portfolio. Now you have to give this a percentage of your overall portfolio, and again, it has to equal a total of 100%. Now you can give it whatever percentage you deem worthy based off of the sector and how much you want to have invested. The lower the number, the lower amount of money is going to go into that sector to be distributed between the funds you have in there. Now it sounds complicated, but I promise you doing it this way makes it a little easier to make sure that your money is not being overspent in areas you're not as familiar with or wanting to be as invested with versus companies or sectors that you really understand and like to have a lot of. As a quick example, you can see my tech sector is at 23% right now, but my financial and my industry sectors are pretty low, 5 and 6% respectively. And part of the reason for that is because those companies and those industries I'm either not as familiar with when it comes to the market and or I just don't prefer those as much. So I have them as a lower percentage of my overall portfolio, and that's only possible because of the way M1 Finance sets everything up. So now what I'm going to do is I believe it was going to be about 6% that I'm going to have this section in. So what I have to do now is my overall portfolio is at 106%. So I just got to lower some of these down. So I kind of already predetermined this, of course, before recording. So yeah, perfect. So I pretty much went down 1% in all my other sectors. So that way my food sector now will be 6% of my pie. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. Just making sure that I want to confirm all this. And now we're going to go ahead and hit confirm. So it's saving this all. So now our pie is kind of changed here a little bit. So you're going to see that right up here, the food section is really under the marker because there's nothing in it and I want it to have 6%. And then you can see here, my real estate now is technically over because I'm saying I only want 8% as a target and it's currently at 10.4. So now what's going to happen is when I make a deposit into my M1 Finance account, because the food section has $0 in it, a huge majority of the money is going to go into that sector, and then it's going to be split up evenly across the board because none of these funds already have anything in them. So it's going to try to get to those target percentages as best as possible. Now, once I have everything close to 6% in my food section, then it'll be distributed a little bit more evenly across the board anytime I make a deposit. Now, if you're actually interested in learning how to buy individual stocks or sectors into the M1 Finance account on your mobile phone, I want you to check out this video right over here to teach you how to do that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.